Hello, this is Alan, welcoming you to the 2004 edition of the Enfield Talking Newspaper. Dateline the 28th of May 2015. The readers this week are Sonia, Jenny, myself, and we have Ian on the controls. The items that we will be reading come from our local newspapers, the Enfield Gazette and Advertiser and the Enfield Independent, and are their copyright. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Pree, Fernand Bouillon and Harry Breuer, and is performed by Jean-Jacques Perry, and is used with his kind permission. Local stories include 8 charged over £10 million heist, Park Gate's decision to lock or not to lock, and some rail fares are cut as line changes hands. But first of all, we have an item of special news, and this is from Diane de Jersey. There will be no drop-in meeting on June the 18th due to another event taking place at the Park Avenue Centre. So the next drop-in will be on Thursday the 16th of July. That's the 16th of July, from 10:30 until 12:30. If you are experiencing any problems receiving your Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020-8805-6578. She is, of course, your listener's representative and will be pleased to help you. Now, Sonia will read the first item of local news. Here she goes.
3 men from Enfield have appeared in court accused of conspiring to steal from Hatton Garden safety deposit boxes. They appeared with 5 other men during a 5-minute hearing at Westminster Magistrates Court last Thursday to face charges relating to the multi-million-pound raid in Hatton Garden in central London over the Easter weekend. The 8 men arrived in 4 security vans with a police escort. Armed police stood outside the court and a helicopter hovered overhead. They are charged with conspiring to enter into Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Limited between April the 1st and May the 19th with intent to steal. Prosecutor Ed Hall said that the value of items stolen from 73 safety deposit boxes had been estimated at £10 million. The men spoke only to confirm their ages and addresses, and all were remanded in custody. Hugh Doyle, 48, of Riverside Gardens, Enfield; Daniel Jones, 58, of Park Avenue, Bush Hill Park; and Terry Perkins, 67, of Heen Road, Enfield, appeared before District Judge Tam Ikram, together with John Collins, 74, from Islington, North London; William Lincoln, 59, from Bethnal Green, East London; Brian Reeder, 76, and Paul Reeder, 50, from Dartford, Kent; and Carl Wood, 58, of Elderbeck Close, Cheshunt. Their next appearance is scheduled for Southwark Crown Court on June the 4th. A 42-year-old man arrested in Essex on Wednesday morning last week appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court on Friday, charged with conspiracy to burgle. John Harbinson of Benfleet was remanded in custody. A 43-year-old man has been released on police bail, pending further inquiries.
Pressure from park campaigners has forced Enfield Borough Council to consider reversing plans to keep the park gates open around the clock. The authority proposed to keep the gates at 22 of the borough's open spaces unlocked 24 hours a day to save £26,000, much to the disdain of park user groups who launched a petition calling for the council to reverse its decision. A final decision has been put on hold by former Environment Cabinet member Councillor Chris Bond but new Cabinet member, Councillor Daniel Anderson, has now put forward new proposals that will be discussed at next month's scrutiny meeting. He recommends that 14 parks that are currently locked will remain locked, and the other 8 will have toilets and vehicle barriers shut, but not pedestrian entrances. The U-turn has been welcomed by park groups, and Friends of Enfield Park Consortium head Peter Gibbs told the Enfield Independent that the pressure put on the council by user groups was essential in the change. He said, "It's fair to say that without our pressure, the council would have passed the policy 9 months ago, and that would have favoured nobody and would not have saved the council any money." Mr Gibbs also praised the approach by the new Cabinet member and said he looked forward to working with Councillor Anderson. He said, "I thought his approach was very refreshing, he understood our concerns and gave a good account of himself. We have invited him to the consortium meeting and we look forward to working with him in the future. I think the council was right to listen to the voice of the people, who undeniably have grave concerns about the possibility of vandalism and antisocial behaviour coming to our beautiful parks." Councillor Anderson said, "I fully understand the strength of feeling residents and park users have in relation to this issue. I am delighted we have come up with some proposals that I hope will please everyone. The fact is that our parks are not fortresses, and if people want to get into them, they will, regardless of whether or not we lock them at night. However, I acknowledge that a significant number of people who were vehemently opposed to these proposals, and so we have listened to them and come up with a set of proposals that meet everyone's needs. I look forward to working with park groups and residents to continue to improve our parks, encourage more people to use them, and make them the best in London." Deputy Leader for the Opposition, Councillor Joanne Laban, described the decision by Councillor Anderson as bold. She said, "I welcome the new Cabinet member's boldness in making a U-turn on the proposals to do a blanket-wide cease of locking parks at night. I know up until a few weeks ago there were no plans to reverse the decision, so this is an improvement. However, 8 parks will now no longer be locked, and that is concerning, especially as some have high ASB levels, which were indicated in the official documents last year. The rationale for reducing the number of parks being locked is to create a saving of £9,000, but if a swing is set fire to, it will cost more to replace it than to lock the parks at night. The council says it needs to make this saving to reduce revenue costs, but at the same time it spent over £3,000 on making a film about holding an election, which I don't believe is as important to residents as locking parks at night. The change of heart by the Labour Council has happened due to the opposition shown by the community, and we should be proud of what we have achieved. We must not forget, however, that the campaign against the council's plans to stop locking parks at night would not have occurred if the council had bothered to consult 9 months ago with its key partners, including the Parks Police and Friends of the Parks groups, rather than take an arrogant and dictatorial approach to this issue.
Train services from Enfield Town are being handed over from train operator Abellio to London Overground this weekend, with changes including a reduction in some fares. The changes come in on Sunday, May the 31st, when some pay-as-you-go fares will actually go down. Transport for London is scheduled to take over the Greater Anglian lines between Liverpool Street and Enfield Town and Cheshunt via Seven Sisters from Abellio. The Cheshunt Liverpool Street line via Tottenham Hale will still be operated by Abellio Greater Anglia, but will share the same pay-as-you-go fares. The move was announced in July 2013 after the government decided to transfer the service to TfL. Passengers are currently charged National Rail pay-as-you-go fares, which are generally higher than TfL fares. The train operator said more than 80% of the current rail journeys will go down in price from Sunday. For example, a Zone 1 to 5 peak rate fare involving the Liverpool Street services will be cut from £6.50 to £4.70, and off-peak will go down from £4.60 to £3.10. Passengers using Enfield Town Station will have noticed changes over the past few weeks as workers installed new seats, floors and signs, and the entrance got a new lick of paint. Other stations are set for a similar makeover. TfL's Director of London Rail, Jonathan Fox, said, "From day one of transfer, passengers can look forward to seeing staff at all London Overground's managed stations. All the stations will be deep cleaned and repainted, with new ticket machines, improved travel information facilities, lighting and CCTV systems," he said, "with barrier gates at some stations." He added, "Our primary objective when we take over services will be to improve reliability and customer satisfaction, as we have done with the rest of the London Overground network." Mr. Fox promised passengers a new fleet of trains from 2018.
The planned £1.5 billion Meridian water development in Edmonton is a step closer after the purchase of 3 plots of land earmarked by Enfield Council to provide 1,500 new homes. Altogether, the scheme will create about 8,000 homes and 3,000 jobs and improve public transport links and infrastructure, including schools, shops, restaurants and a health centre in a waterfront setting. Cabinet Member for Housing and Housing Regeneration, Armit O'Connor, said, "This purchase will help kickstart the delivery of homes at Meridian Water and is an exciting step forward for this incredibly ambitious and exciting scheme." Additionally, the purchase of 9 hectares of land from National Grid has enabled the Council to apply for housing zone status for Meridian Water from the Greater London Authority. The status is due to be announced soon. The Council is also looking to buy 3 more sites, with space for another 2,500 homes. A Council spokesman said that good progress had also been made in coordinating the infrastructure essential to the scheme's success. Network Rail has approved funding for an additional 3rd track on the line that runs through Angel Road Station, improving the service to 4 trains an hour from 2018. In March, the Council's Cabinet approved a funding package meaning the new Meridian Water Station could be built in the same year. A new Meridian Angel Primary School will open next year, and the Angel Gardens Park will be completed by the end of the year. Plans for the new Meridian Boulevard are in the pipeline, with construction due to start in 2015. And the Lee Valley Heat Network Company has been established to supply heat and hot water to homes at Meridian Water in 2018. The Council is in the process of forming a Meridian Water multidisciplinary team to manage the project. It will bring together architects, planners, landscape architects, surveyors, engineers, transport planners, and environmental consultants.
More than 20 gravestones have been vandalised at a cemetery in Enfield. Therese de Monaco told the Enfield Independent of her shock on discovering the damaged memorials at Lavender Hill Cemetery in Cedar Road last week. She said, "I was in utter shock when I discovered what happened. So many old gravestones and other tributes have been badly damaged and broken. Something must be done to stop this happening again. Mr. Monaco, who said she had notified the police and hoped those who defaced the graves were put to justice. She added, "People spend a lot of money on leaving something for their loved one, and it has been ruined by mindless thugs. This is a serious crime, and I hope it is taken seriously by the police and local authority." Councillor Daniel Anderson, Enfield Borough Council's Cabinet Member for Environment, condemned the vandalism and urged anyone with information to come forward. He said, "This is an appalling crime involving the desecration of a number of family memorials and headstones. We have made all the stones safe and are contacting the relatives whose graves are affected to make them aware. However, we believe many of the damaged stones are extremely old, so there may be difficulties in contacting any surviving family. If anyone knows anything about this disgusting vandalism, we would urge them to report it to police by calling 101.
Petrol heads were in automobile heaven over the bank holiday weekend, as vehicles of all shapes, colours and ages were exhibited at the annual Enfield motoring pageant. Thousands of enthusiasts and visitors flocked to the 3-day extravaganza at Enfield Playing Fields in Great Cambridge Road, to drool enviously at the polished chrome curves of classic or vintage cars and motorbikes, have a peek under the bonnet, and view the many stalls selling collectibles, as well as enjoy the variety of entertainment provided. The spectacular pageant, which is organised by the Enfield and District Veteran Vehicle Society, is a fundraiser for the Whitewebs Museum of Transport in Whitewebs Road, Enfield. There were vehicles from the museum on display, as well as cars owned by individuals and car clubs, with British classic cars and American Cadillacs well represented. Other attractions at the pageant on Saturday, Sunday and Monday included a stunt motorcycle display team and live music from a 1950s-style US singing group, the Polka Dots.
North Middlesex University Hospital has been rated in the top 40 hospitals in the country. The hospital in Stirling Way, Edmonton, was named in the top 40 by healthcare provider CHKS after receiving the Top Hospitals 2015 award. The award was given to the hospital for providing high-quality care and was one of 5 in London to make it into the top 40. Hospital Chief Executive Julie Lowe said, "We are proud to have received this award, which recognises the quality of the care we provide. We also know that there is much more we can do to improve the perceptions some of our patients have of the quality of care we provide, so that their experience of our care is as good as the quality of care they receive. We are working hard to achieve this." Head of Patient Experience, Julie Firth, added, "The clinical care we provide is among the best in the country, and this is demonstrated in our exceptionally low mortality rate. The Patient Experience Survey includes a range of other measures of patient perception of our services. Nonetheless, we are pleased that the latest Patient Experience Survey, over 70% of patients said that they had a very good patient experience at North Mid." Jason Harris, Managing Director of CHKS, said, "These awards recognise outstanding performance in those areas that we believe are critical to delivering good patient care. We are delighted that North Middlesex Hospital is one of our top hospitals 2015.
Secret drawers stuffed with illicit tobacco were uncovered by a sniffer dog during a sting operation at a shop in Edmonton. Hertford Food Centre in Hertford Road has had its licence revoked by Enfield Council after stashes of illegal alcohol and cigarettes were found when customs officials visited in May. They had been tipped off by members of the public and the police that goods were being sold on which the correct duty had not been paid. The dog led officers to drawers behind the shop's counter, which had false bottoms filled with illicit tobacco. 3 bottles of vodka, more than 90 packets of cigarettes, and 7 pouches of hand-rolling tobacco were uncovered. Previous visits in March and August last year had resulted in 73 bottles of spirits and 2 packets of non-duty paid cigarettes being seized. Cabinet Member for Environment Daniel Anderson said that businesses which flout the law would not be tolerated. It is illegal, gives them an unfair advantage against honest traders, and exposes shoppers to illegal products that may be contaminated and unsafe, he said. My message to those traders who are considering breaking the law in this way is simple. Comply with the law, pay your taxes and behave lawfully, or we will do everything in our power to prevent you from behaving illegally in our borough. We want to promote honest, hard-working traders who provide good quality and safe products to our residents. Selling prohibited and potentially dangerous alcohol and cigarettes is not a sustainable business model in Enfield, because we'll come after you and shut you down. The shop's licence was removed by the council's licensing subcommittee on May the 13th.
Jolly good. If it was a sting operation, why wasn't it conducted by a bee? A painting created by a schoolgirl has been unveiled at its new home in a civic centre. Hand of Hope by Marie Sadler, aged 12, of Winchmore School, Laburnum Grove, was originally exhibited at the Dugdale Centre in London Road, Enfield Town, during the week of the Holocaust Memorial Day in January. The piece will now be on show in Enfield Borough Council Civic Centre in Silver Street, Enfield, after the local authority requested to keep it on display. Councillor Aoife Orhan, Cabinet Member for Education, Children's Services and Protection, said, "Winchmore School has special status for the arts and encourages young people to pursue these subjects with enthusiasm." Head of Art, Alison Grasham, is to be congratulated for planning a research week for the group, who in just 2 days composed and created a superb exhibition. It is not surprising to hear comments that it was marvellous and that it captured the spirit of the Keep the Memory Alive theme. Marie, aged 12, said, "I feel that degenerate art should be shown more, and it is not because of the Nazis. I chose this piece because it stood out to me as being an example of art illustrating life during the Second World War. My artwork represents the hope within the Holocaust, and I want people to see the story in my work. Keep the Memory Alive is a way to show that the past is just as important as the present and future. We will never forget." Sonia.
Haringey Clinical Commissioning Group would like to invite you to attend its governing body meeting held in public on Wednesday the 3rd of June at 1:30 until 4:30 p.m. at the Cypriot Centre, Earlham Grove, Wood Green, North 22, 5HJ. The agenda and meeting papers will be available 7 days before the meeting at www.haringeyccg.nhs.uk. Questions about agenda items can be submitted before the meeting to steve.beho@haringeyccg.nhs.uk. Beho is spelt B-E-E-H-O. And these questions will be answered at the start of the meeting. Please send your questions to Steve by 10 a.m. on Monday the 1st of June. Further information is available from 020 36 88 2731 or steve.bho@haringeyccg.nhs.uk.
A woman from Enfield who was the victim of a hit-and-run accident and then lost all hearing in her right ear after contracting meningitis has been selected to be mentored by Paula Radcliffe. Devki Trivedi of Hazelwood Road had a long-standing passion for running, but this came to a sudden halt when she was knocked off her bicycle by a car. Then, in December 2014, she was hospitalised with viral meningitis and suffered hearing loss as a result. However, immersing herself in running once more has helped her regain her confidence, and now she has been chosen as one of 6 inspirational women to be mentored by Paula in preparation for the 10-kilometre Great Newham Run on July the 19th, which takes place in the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park. Devki told the Advertiser, "From a young age I've always been a passionate runner, and Paula Radcliffe has always been one of my idols. 2014 was not a good year for me health-wise, and I really struggled to get back into running following it all. However, the chance to run in the Olympic Stadium and be one of Radcliffe's great runners is amazing, and I believe it will really help me get back into running after a tough year." Paula, the women's world record holder in the marathon, added, "Running has given me so much pleasure and a lot of wonderful experiences, and I want to share that with these 6 wonderful women and help them reach their own personal goals."
Goblins, fairies, trolls and elves gathered at Capel Manor Gardens for a new family festival. The Goblin Groove Festival attracted people in fancy dress for a day of live music, craft stalls, workshops and entertainment. It was organised by the Funky Festival Company, and visitors had a chance to learn circus skills and drumming, along with browsing at food stalls or tucking into a picnic. The event at the Gardens in Ballsmore Lane, Enfield on Saturday was followed by music festival in the evening.
A naked man spotted by council's CCTV operators striding boldly in the morning rush hour down a number of Edmonton roads was taken to hospital for an evaluation. The man was seen swinging his arms as he marched along Northern Avenue, Victoria Road and Belvedere Road at 8:30 a.m. on Friday, May the 15th. Daniel Anderson, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Environment, said, "This case demonstrates how the CCTV network can help identify and protect the most vulnerable members of our society."
Well, that's some identification taking place there. We have now reached the end of side 1 of this tape. Please stop your machine now, take out the cassette, turn it over, and we'll start side 2.